Hello guys, Mano here again, and welcome to the part two of the Framer tutorial. If you haven't watched that, check the link above, and we walked through what the hell at CMS, right? When to use CMS, also some of the detail page, setting up a CMS, and we'll be going deeper into variables, components, and component responsiveness in CMS. Right, one of the stuff we did also, if you haven't watched that video, is converting a page, for example a page like this, to a CMS page, and how that is way much better than you first creating a CMS and then connecting each of those stuff later on. Right, so we'll just walk you through all of that again. So first thing first, let me show you how variables work. I'm sure by now you've seen this blue icon and also a plus sign to each of the text, like elements, visible, rotation, and also even color, right? Like fill. And the part where they don't have those stuff, it shows you that you can't really use CMS for that. Right? So that was one of the reasons I told you guys that I told you that like changing layouts sometimes is really complex on CMS page, right? And it's way much better to just have a single layout, or maybe you are hiding some stuff and you are changing some stuff, right? Because if, for example, now I want this stuff to look like this on this page, let me show you what I mean. Like I want this stuff to look like this on this page, to always look like this for every other one. Let me duplicate this CMS page and call this UX design. And I'm going to give this part time China, right? And I just want to show you the benefit of that. You notice if I come here and I select front end, it's front end, right? If I go back to US design, it changes everything. Like you see China, the amount per time, this, right? Even the layout will always be the same stuff, right? It will always be the same layout, right? Now if I want this stuff to be like, okay, when it is UX design, change it to, it should look like this, and if it is not, to look like this. That becomes complex. Right? And one simple way you could do it, like some way you could do it, is head on to this part and add edit field. So editing field is where you could basically add any stuff. For example, let me add a color, call this BG, and I'm going to let the default color be dark. And a moment we want to add is a toggle element. All right, so I'm going to call this layout one, and I'll tell you why I don't really suggest any of this. Right, so dark layout one, no. And also on this one, UX design, let's set the text, the background here to be that color. Right, now if we come here now, right, we could say, okay, how do I change the layout? The funny thing is you can't, like there's no way for you to connect if layout one is yes and you change it. What some people have done is come here visible, if layout one is yes, then let it be visible. But it's not really good for SEO, right? It's not really good for SEO. You're just, it's not good, man. So some scenarios in which you could do this also is go back here and say, okay, layout two, change this to bottom, and come here and say if this is variant, if this is layout one, then set this to variant one, and if it's layout two, set it to variant two. Right, so this is now, it's like this normal, right? We come to front end designer to look like this, right? Those sort of stuff, right? And it works, but some issue now regarding like changes here and all those kind of stuff, sure. But I won't really suggest changing layouts when it comes to, but if you want to do that, those are like the best way to do that to save you a lot of time. Even though it's if you like stress, yeah, if you like stress, then you could go through those routes, right? And I just want to walk you through the list, right? So now we have two items, right? We have UX design and front end. Now we want to connect that CMS. At least there'll be a page where we are linking them to the CMS, right? And that page could be this one, right? It could look like this, where we are showing them like this, and it could also look like this, where we are telling them apply, 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 right? And the way we could do stuff like this is, first we want, this is a normal grid, right? This is not how to look like. We want to go to insert and come to collection list, and that's our collection. We want to drag it here, right? Set this to fill and set this to grid. You can see this how look like. We don't want it to look like this, so let's just delete the content, right? So that content has been deleted. And one way in which you could do this is you could just copy your text, your card, and your frame, and just put it there directly, right? But then if it's a component, right? Let's say this is a component and this is a card item component, right? And if you come back here, you can see there's some issue here, and you want to set this to fail, so that will fix that issue. But if you come back here, one issue with if you don't know about this yet is on components, you can't really change any content here anymore, because one, you have not set the variable for which that CMS will be looking for, right? If it's a normal stuff, right, you can just come here and set the variable directly. Like, okay, set the variable, this will be the title, and this here will link directly to the job page. So if I click on apply, to link directly to the job page, right? And this one here, I'm going to just set this one, instead of sales, I'm going to set this to the type, so to show me part-time and full-time based on whatever stuff there is, right? I don't have a short description here, but I'm going to just leave this with the way this one is here. But if I have that, let me just copy this and come here, go to edit field here, formatted text. I don't think it needs to be formatted safe. Let me come here and go to rich text, plain text, right? And let's call this description. And okay, text area, yes, so it will be big, right? I can come here and say we are looking for this, and here we are saying we don't need you, we just want you to work without payment. We hope you understand. Okay, now we could come here to this and just set this, right? Content this, and say this is the description. And if you notice, it's automatically changes that stuff, right? That works mostly if it's just a normal card. But if you have a component, right? Let's say this is a component. Let me remove all of this stuff I've connected, all the variables, right? If you have a component, what you want to do is you want to first um set that component variable. So on this part, so you want to come here first and set, like, create a variable for that. So this could be tag, create another variable, just click any plus sign, the plus sign to it, and just call this title. This should be tag, title tag. Then we have this one here should be description, right? If we also have something like maybe we want a particular stuff to show if it is featured, then we could do that as well. Then this here would be, wait, let's create another variable. This would be link, apply. This should not be a text, sorry, the link, and let's call this apply. Now if we go back here now, we want to set this to fill. Now we can see all of those stuff, and we could connect all of them. Set this to the title, both of them are changed. Set this to the tag, right? They are changed. Set this to the description, they are changed. And I think one more stuff we need to add here is this. I didn't add the link, so let me add it. Set variable to apply, right? And I can come here and send this to apply, and that's it. It's done, right? Like that's pretty much it. And I'm sure if you've noticed, you might be trying to access the second one, but you can't access it. The reason for that is because it's a CMS, like you just need a particular one as a template, right? So this first one is most likely a template, and it will follow for other ones. I could come here and duplicate this and say this is webflow dev, right? Let's just create more, and let's do another one. Call this UX designer, UX researcher. Okay, save, right? And if you notice, you can't click on front end and edit it. You have to everything you want to do would be here, right? And that's where most times problems comes in, especially in responsiveness, because now you want to be able to set a particular stuff here. So I could come here and say this is phone, like in scenarios where I want this stuff to change, but it doesn't really matter like this, because the reason I'm saying doesn't really matter because this here is already responsive. I will show you. I will come here and just set this to be one grid, and it's responsive already. But if we're looking at other stuff, like let's say this, let's show you this blog, um right? So this blog list, for example, that looks like this, and then on tablet it looks like this, right? There's no way for you to just immediately change it, right? So you have to create a separate component for this. So let me, this is, what width is this? 120. Let us create a component and let me just show you, right? So this is one. Then we'll have to create another one here, which will be phone, right? I'm just going to set this to 390, which is like the normal phone width for, set this to start 16, right? And we want this block wrapper to be bottom. Set this to start to as well, and fill, and set this to fill, right? Do the same thing too for this. Set this to fill, right? And if we come here now, we could change that and say, okay, on mobile, change this to variant one, and same thing here too. Change this to phone variant. And the same way we can do that too for CMS, because if you notice this is a CMS list too as well. And the same way we can do that for CMS, like okay, if this works, then this works, right? And it's pretty simple. And similar to this, all of these are the items in the CMS, but they are still showing the same text. And you know the problem already. You need to connect each of the variable, like by creating a variable in the component itself, and then connect it, right? This will be title, then this would be link, right? Link, and this also would be time to read. I will come here back and just connect each of them. Set this to, okay, there's no date in that part, but let me set this to title, and the link, let's set this to the blog, right? There's no CMS list also here, right? But that's pretty much everything you need to know regarding CMS. You could change the structure, but it's really stressful, right? I won't really suggest that, but you could use a toggle, you could use options to change the layout of the site, but you want to be careful in order not to have two H1 elements, right, causing issues with SEO on your page. And also the best time to use CMS is if you want, most times, similar structure, change of content. If you want to save time, right? You want to save time, and you don't want to rebuild a page over and over again, right? Then you use a CMS. But if you want to be really creative in your case studies, then you might not want to use a CMS. The best thing you can just do is duplicate, make some changes, right? And if you are setting a CMS, the best approach is design the page first, like a normal page, and then convert that page to a CMS. That way, it's way much easier for you, right? Rather than then going back and doing those stuff. Let me show that you the reason for that real quick. So let me delete all of these elements. Delete, right? Delete. Okay, let me not delete everything, but let me come here to job, and let me delete all of this stuff. Many times when you start like create a CMS first, it will create a page for you which will look like this, right? Then what you have to do is you have to copy your elements here and redesign each of like for tablet, for mobile, and it's really stressful. So you want to just come here and click on convert to CMS. It's way much better like that. And I think that's pretty much everything regarding CMS. This was a request from one of our community members on Frema. Uh, so reach out to or check the link below to join the community. It's pretty really vibrant, and it's something you I believe you could learn from. And if you are getting started with Frema, check out the link above below rather to get started with Frema. Yeah, thank you.